Hey guys, welcome in. Rob Kendall Show. Happy Friday. Thanks for spending it with us. We are in our brand new studio. Now, studio is going to change a lot over the next week, but we are here, and thus far it appears, knock on wood, fingers crossed, everything is working. So a new day, a new era with the Rob Kendall Show. I did a little brief tour. If you want to head over to @RobMKendall on Twitter after we're done here today, a little panorama around the room. Again, a lot of junk thrown out and about right now. It's going to get looking a lot different here over the next week. But we are here, and speaking of new era and new days, don't forget beginning Monday, we move to 3 hours. 3 hours, 9 until noon. Beginning Monday. And, of course, we're still going to give you the 2 hours throughout the course of the program of Indiana news and politics and government. But we're also going to put in some national stuff. And that third hour, thanks to the kindness of our pal, John Rust, he said, hey, I love your program. Let me know what I can do to help. I said, here's what you can do. He said, done. So beginning Monday, 9 until noon, the Rob Kendall Show. And that's what this show has been about, right? The first couple of months, we just had to get on the air. We had to get the word to you guys, be able to do the program every day. Now it's about growth. Now it's about growing the program, expanding the voice, making it better, making it bigger. We've had a great first 8 weeks. You guys have been amazing. And as we wrap up week number 9, now it is about putting the pedal to the metal and growing this show and expanding our voice. And we're going to be able to do a bunch of new stuff and cool stuff. Look, we are so lucky that Chris and Robert were so kind to let us use that studio for the first 9 weeks, and it was immensely helpful. And now the next logical step is for us to get our own place, which we've done, and we're ready to rock and we're ready to roll. So speaking of letting us grow the program, helping us grow the program, and getting the word out and expanding, that's where you guys come in. 3 things we need you to do: to like, to share, and to subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe the program. So first of all, if you haven't done so yet, hit that thumbs up button. By the way, yeah, the curtain behind me, it's going to look a little different, I think, the next time you guys see, or maybe not. We'll see how it goes this weekend. But look, I've broadcast way worse than in a room in front of a curtain. Trust me. Hit the thumbs up button, guys. Let us know you like the program. That's a great way. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Hit that little thumbs up button, and that really helps. Also, share the feed. Facebook, Twitter. It's about growing the program now. We're moving on. We're moving up. If you got a Facebook, if you got a Twitter, let everybody know we are here by sharing the feed. And last but certainly not least, most of you have already done this, I know, but if you haven't done so yet, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe whether you're listening live or watching live on YouTube or whatever platform you're listening on, Apple, Spotify, all the places. Give us a subscribe. If you're on Apple, give us that 5-star review. All of that stuff really helps us out. Okay, one final thing, and then we will get into the program. RobKendallShow.com. That's our website. We got the live feed there. We've got the on-demand. All the on-demand platforms are up there. And then, of course, we've also got articles each day of our favorite segments. We turn them into articles. They're up at RobKendallShow.com. And this is an important one, the support button. If you like what we're doing, step up. Don't be a freeloader. Don't be a dine and dasher. We got a support button. RobKendallShow.com. $1, $10, $10,000. Whatever you feel like we're worth, you give it. RobKendallShow.com. Hit the support button. Also, man, so many of you have said you've seen the billboards all across the greater central Indiana area. That's, again, thanks to our friend John Rust. And, yeah, they're awesome. Super cool. Updated, by the way. Producer Jason put a new billboard together that is, people said they saw it. And thank you to everyone who let us know about that. All right. So let's get to the program. And we start by talking about our friends at Double D's Barbecue. You know, they are open in Clayton, little out of the way, totally worth the trip. Great, authentic Memphis-style barbecue. They're open Wednesday through Saturday, so they are open right now. Owners, Tina and Dennis Duncan, along with their son Garrett, they are from Memphis, so that means when it comes to barbecue, that's their life. They're not screwing around. Here's how it works. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. They cook all their food fresh daily, make all their own sauces. Everything's made from scratch. And look, guys, if you're thinking about somewhere different to eat, somewhere different to go this weekend, check out Double D's Barbecue. They're located right near 40 and 39 in Clayton, Wednesday through Saturday. Get there early because once the food's gone, it's gone because they make it all fresh from scratch each day. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more. DDBBQ317.com, DDBBQ317.com. I know a bunch of you have been there already, and man, you guys said it. Outstanding stuff. DDBBQ317.com. Okay, so I know many of you have shared that this has happened to you. I got my property tax assessment yesterday. And while I am irate about what mine was, some of you have shared yours, and it is infinitely worse than what I got. Now, every person should call your assessor and demand an explanation about how they assessed your property. Get that on the record. Don't just take the letter and treat it as some sort of gospel. I have done this twice over the past couple of years, and it has worked in my favor. You call, in a polite, respectful manner, demand an answer. They'll work through it with you. Sometimes they catch their own mistake. They've done that twice with me. Don't just accept the assessment. Now, after you get their explanation, then you have the option to file a formal appeal. That's usually for most people by June 15th. You have to file a formal appeal. Now, they are like slow as molasses a lot of times getting to these appeals, but at least get it on the record if you're unhappy with it. If you're not satisfied with it, you can do that. But at the very least, call your assessor's office, ask to speak with someone, ask for an appointment for them to walk through how they assessed your property. Make sure there's no mistakes. These assessments, they're ridiculous. And we said last year, we told you this was going to happen when they were in the process of bastardizing Senate Bill 1. Jeff Thompson, which, by the way, if you're in Brownsburg and Hendricks County, State Rep Jeff Thompson, that's his bill. Vote against him. He has a primary competitor. He's up for re-election. I don't know anything about the woman he's running against. I can find no proof. She's a card-carrying member of the Communist Party, and I didn't find her post or her picture anywhere in a post office. Good enough for me. You've got to start punishing these people who screwed us over. Jeff Thompson, he is public enemy number one on this. This was his bill. He took that original bill and he bastardized it and he gutted it, and it ended up being a colossal giveaway to big business. That's who the winner of Senate Bill 1 was, and the loser was you. And we were screaming about this at the time because there was nothing in look, I am loath to say anything nice about Braun, but in this case, the original Braun bill did what? It reverted everyone back to their original, the property tax bill of 2021. That was the one thing that the Braun law did, and then it capped the amount the assessment could go, the bill could go up. They didn't do any of that in the final bill. And look, no sympathy for Braun because he signed the bad bill. And Braun lied to everyone. Well, Braun's an idiot, so he may not have known. But Braun relayed bad information to everyone. I don't know what Grandpa knows or what he doesn't. But we said at the time, until we deal with assessments, which are the issue, property taxes are going to continue to go up. And within 2 years, most people will see whatever reduction they got totally wiped out. So I'm going to use my bill as an example of this. And I know many people had it worse. I know many people had a worse assessment than I did. So mine's probably on the low end. But let's explain how my bill worked, okay? So the way the property tax bill worked was a 10% deduction on your bill not to exceed $300. So whatever your bill was going to be, you take 10% of that off, not to exceed $300. For most people, your property taxes, unless you have a school referendum, are capped at 1%. By the way, the school referendum, I don't think that's part of the bill. It's like what the actual bill would have been, and then the referendum's on top of it. So for most people, your property taxes are capped at 1% unless you have a school referendum. So, for example, if you have a $200,000 home and you live in a central Indiana municipality, you're probably capped at the 1%. Probably not lower, not higher, unless you have a school referendum. 1% of $200,000 is $2,000. $2,000, you take 10% off that bill, you got $200 back off your bill this year. Now, we did the math for you on this, and we said at the 1% cap, with the max $300 increase, a lot of people, if your house is less than $300,000, you got less than $300. Within 2 to 3 years, that deduction or that reduction is gone. So you're going to start paying more than you were paying 2 or 3 years ago because of the assessments rising. So if your assessment went up $30,000, it's a $300 increase in your bill. If your assessment went up $20,000, it's a $200 increase in your bill. My assessment went up a little bit over $12,000. My assessment last year went up almost $8,000. So my assessment has increased close to $20,000 in 2 years, which means I'm paying $200 more in taxes. Now, you pay your property tax in what they call arrears. So you will pay your assessment this year, you pay it next year. So I'm getting about $240-ish deduction from on the property tax bill. My assessment has gone up roughly $20,000, which means I'm paying $200 more, which means I'm down to $40 in savings on the bill I pay next year. $40, which means the next round of assessments. So next year's assessment, exactly as I told you last year was going to happen, next year's assessment will wipe out all the savings for me. Done. I'm paying more again in property taxes than I was paying a couple of years ago. And of course, all of the increases that led up to 2025. These lawmakers did nothing to help you. You know who they helped? Their big business friends. That's who the winner was. Now, on top of this, right, we've talked about it, you're going to have schools all over central Indiana and across our state, for that matter, who are going to be sprinting this fall to do school referendums. Carmel's headed for its third school referendum. If you live in Carmel, you're going to have not one, not two, but three. And these people, they're big wussies. I wanted to say something else, but I still have the family program, even though we're in our new studio. They're going to approve that third school referendum. So you're going to have all of your savings wiped out. A lot of people are going to actually pass school referendums. So on top of the savings that you got, savings in air quote, it's so weird. I can see myself now the way this thing is set up. I can see myself doing the show to you guys. So all your savings will be wiped out because of the rise in assessments. A bunch of school districts are going to pass school referendums, which means your property taxes are going to go up. Your property taxes will naturally go up because of assessments on top of the school referendum, because the schools ain't giving it back once the assessments lock in. The assessment increases lock in. They're just going to keep the money. And coming up in 2029, a lot of us are going to see income tax increases because there was a change in the local income tax law. This is what your government thought you deserved. This is what your Republican supermajorities in the Indiana House and the Indiana Senate thought you deserved. More tax increases. There's no way, as stupid as they are, there's no way they were this stupid not to know exactly what they were doing. It was simple math, which apparently none of them can do. And again, remember last year we asked Carrie Hamilton, who's a state rep, what percentage of the people in the General Assembly read that bill and what percentage do you think understand it? She said maybe 10% of the people read the bill. That's 15 people of 150 lawmakers. That doesn't even address how many of them even understood it. You are getting screwed. Now, I look at my assessment, and I'm angry, but I got off easier than a lot of people. I talked to one person yesterday who had a $60,000 increase in their assessment. I had somebody message me who had a $100,000 increase in their assessment. Now, I told those people, you have to examine and force the assessor's office to explain to you how this happened, because there seems to be something amiss with this. But a lot of people, $30,000 and $40,000. The lawmakers always knew when they did Senate Bill 1 that unless you address the assessments, property taxes will go up. They don't want your taxes to go down. They don't want you to pay less. This was all done by design. And it's happening exactly as I told you it was going to happen last year. Now, my question becomes, Governor Braun has been meeting with these suckers every month who go to the governor's mansion and they post the pictures with him about how great it is to meet with them. He told them he had an ace up his sleeve this year. Where's that at? And I say suckers. I think at this point they know what's going on. I think most of them are aware they're being played and used. But as usual, you get people who get enamored with the quote-unquote star power, the perk, rather than people who go in well-intended. And they're not even trying to hold Braun accountable. They let him lie right to their face, and they go, oh, thank you, Governor Braun. Look at us. We're in the governor's mansion. Where's the ace, Governor Braun? Last year, Braun and Micah said they were coming back for more this year. I guess they meant more of our money. I guess Governor Braun and Micah Beckwith, when they said we're coming back for more in 26, they meant more of our money, because that's what's happening. All the savings are being wiped out. They've been eradicated in 2 years for many people, exactly as I said. See, these guys, Braun and Micah, Diego, Rokita, the General Assembly, they want to talk so much crap about me. They want to say so many horrible things about me because we're right, because I'm on your side. Everything we've said about this property tax bill has been correct from the word go. Everything we told you was going to happen is happening, and they're letting it happen. Braun will call a special session on redistricting. He wouldn't do it for you. He wouldn't do it for property taxes. That's one of the major reasons I was against redistricting. Because all redistricting did was benefit Donald Trump. I want Braun to fight for us more than he fights for Donald Trump. I want Donald Trump to fight for people being able to, I want Mike Braun to be able to fight for people being able to stay in their homes the way he's fighting for politics. Guys, you're getting totally screwed. And if you vote for incumbents, you are voting for the status quo. Look, I'm not a fan of almost any of these challengers because I think they totally blew their ability to have a mandate when they go in there, these Senate challengers. A bunch of them are fraudsters. They're opportunists. A bunch of them are just stupid. They don't understand any of this stuff. They'll just go in and be somebody else's yes man. It won't be Rod Bray if he gets fired. It'll be Garton or whoever the new guy is. So, that's why I haven't been fired up about any of it. They listen to these turning point clowns who know nothing about our state in many cases, don't care about our state, have been totally ineffective in garnering momentum in our state. They're totally beholden to one issue, which is redistricting. And they should have been focused on things like this. Think about if they had listened to me and for 4 months they've been screaming about property taxes and assessments come out. That's your moral high ground. That's the property tax person. No one in this state is more associated with property tax reform than me. Why? Because we've been on it for years. I did it as an elected official, cutting the property taxes. I've defeated school referendums. You have to build that trust. You have to build that identity. And all of these candidates, had they been running on this, instead of wasting this time on redistricting, which most people don't care about, and even if they did, it's so far in the rearview mirror, they don't get that high ground today. They don't get to run out and say, see, we told you. They would be in such a better position, and most importantly, not just to win, but to enter with a mandate. All of that being said, you have to, how can you possibly vote to reelect any of these people who did this to you? Any of these people who know this corrupt system is in place. The same system, a tax on unrealized capital gains that they called Kamala Harris a socialist and a communist for. They do the same thing every year here. When you get your assessment, like on mine, there's a little QR code, and I think they're on almost all the bills now. You can scan the QR code, and they'll show you what homes they use to assess the value of your property. Many times they'll show you what they call them like-minded sales of other homes, other people who cashed out, other people who made money that you're paying for. Kamala Harris proposed it, and she was called every word under the sun by these same set of Republicans. They do it here in Indiana. It's standard operating procedure. They knew this when they passed the property tax law. The same way, I think they knew it deep down almost 20 years ago when they put the tax caps into place. They knew as long as the assessments go up, property taxes will continue to rise and government will get their money no matter what the cap is. You have one person, a non-fiscal agent, the assessor, who sends you a letter in the mail and says your taxes went up. Not by act of your county council or your county commissioners or your town or city governments or your mayors. Some assessor. Now, the assessor's elected. And by the way, shame on all of these assessors who go along with this. You guys know this is BS. You guys know what you're doing to people. And they just throw their hands up. Like the woman wrote a Dickens novel on the form that I got. Here's the formula we used to blah, 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 to blah, 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 blah. Who the F cares, lady? Like, is that going to make me feel better that my taxes went up again because you used the correct formula? Oh, I'm going to have these in-person meetings so you can go and meet me. And what? You'll tell me to kiss your ass? You're not changing my assessment? Like, shame on the assessors who go along with this. Every assessor in our state, if the assessors really felt bad about it, if the assessors really cared about us, they would organize a mass protest, you know, the way we did. You know how many assessors were at our property tax rally when we put 1,000 people in the State House? 0. None. The assessors have the ability to spark conversation on this. There's 92 of them across the state. If they really believed we were getting screwed, if they really wanted us, because they always do this in these letters, basically like, well, you know, it's a bad system, but what am I supposed to do? I'm just the assessor entering the formula. They never speak up for us. They never speak with an organized voice. They never fight for us. Nobody fights for us. Nobody fights for us. So I guess the message you can send, and I hate this because a lot of these people are complete idiots who are running, but it's to vote against all the incumbents. I don't know how you could possibly reelect any incumbents in this state right now. I'm talking at a state or a local level or a federal level. I do not know how you could vote for any of these people who are currently in office. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. And you're going to keep getting screwed until we do something about it and until the assessment issue gets addressed. Hey, is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salts, environmental buildup, like mold and dirt, can all cause unsightly damage. Cracks, breaks, looks awful. That's where Seal Now comes in. SEALNOW, sealnow.com. They do it all. Clean, seal, stain. They're pros at it. And they do more than just concrete. They can do decks, fences, pergolas, any exposed exterior concrete or wood structure. They can do it for you. They can fix it. They can clean it. They can bring it back to life. But you got to go to sealnow.com, SEALNOW.com. When you're there, you can schedule you're going to get a free estimate. They're going to tell you what it's going to cost. So take a look at what you got. You can see some of the projects they've done, give you an idea of how yours might look. And then if you say, hey, I heard about you on Rob Kendall Show, Seal Now is going to take 20% off any long-term sealing project. Free estimate. You know exactly what your project's going to cost. And then if you mention the Rob Kendall Show, they're going to take 20% off any long-term sealing project. Seal Now, SEALNOW.com. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, I've got a new column out in Indy Star I want to talk about our old pal Braun and his buddy Tom Kleinhelter and the bizarre behavior that Braun has had on that. Plus, you will not believe how much money our state is letting go out of the borders of Indiana, how much money people are spending on marijuana, how many people are actually using marijuana. It is unbelievable. We'll give you the details. Coming up next, you're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, representing the Wabash Valley by listening and never compromising our shared values. That's why I'm the only Senate candidate endorsed by Indiana Right to Life, the NRA, Indiana Realtors, professional firefighters, and the Indiana Farm Bureau. These endorsements are from the good people from Indiana and for Indiana, a sign of trust that I have built and results that you can count on. I'm Senator Greg Good, and I respectfully ask for your vote in the Indiana Republican primary.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show, new studio. Yeah, there's a curtain behind me. It's a work in progress. We just got in here yesterday. So far, yeah, it does look sort of like a hostage video, right? Like I'm set to make a set of demands. But it will be very soon looking pretty cool. We're pretty excited about what's going on. We're glad to be here. Can't thank Chris and Robert and the Leaders and Legends guys who afforded us the ability to get on the air for 2 months and figure out what we're doing and how we want to do it. And now, as we said, it's all about growing this show. It's all about getting the word out. It's all about, look, this is wild, the impact that we have, right? So I'm driving to work today, and there's all sorts of construction going on around where I live. The gas company, they're putting down new gas lines. And I come to this little four-way stop. It's just around the corner from my house. And I'm at the four-way stop getting ready to go forward. And this guy who's working on the construction crew, he looks up and he sees me. I'm stopped at the four-way stop. He's on the other side of the street. And he starts running out in the middle of the street, waving his hands, like, just like this, right? And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I'm stopped. Like, I'm not going fast. I'm like, what's going on? And then I can realize he's trying to like get my attention. So I drive through the four-way stop and I pull over and he goes, hey, he goes, I just want to let you know, we really miss you on the radio. Loved what you do. Thanks for doing it. He opens his shirt. He's got a Hammer and Nigel shirt on. And he just goes, hey, man, I just wanted to say thanks for all you do. And we miss you on the radio. And I said, man, this is why we're doing what we're doing now. The bond that we have, I mean, just unbelievable. And just because we're not where we once were, doesn't mean we can't grow. Doesn't mean we can't be bigger than ever. We also need to thank Ethan Hatcher. Ethan, Saturday Night on the Circle. You guys know him, 7 to 9, Saturdays on WIBC. He came over here with Jason yesterday. Man, he worked really hard to help us get a bunch of stuff done. And look, I'm throwing a few coins his way, so he's not running a soup kitchen. All right. But that being said, Ethan was awesome. And we can't thank him enough. He was just super nice. I'm buying him a couple of brews and taking care of him. So Ethan, you're awesome. Thank you for all your help. And Ethan's been a great friend over the years, and I really, really appreciate him coming over here and helping out. He was awesome. All right, so let's talk about, well, before we do that, let's thank our friend Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. Lauren is all about local, and she's about person-to-person contact and about giving you great customer service, because that's what you need when you're buying a home. You need someone who you know from the start to the end is in your corner. They are about you. They're about making choices that are right for you and putting you in the right home. That's what Lauren Wilson with At Properties is all about. And she will be with you from start to finish, the entire step of the way, helping you make decisions that are best for you in one of your biggest life choices. Whether you're buying, whether you're selling, whether you're doing neither and you're just starting the process of thinking about it. Talk to a professional, somebody who's invested in you. Lauren Wilson with At Properties, 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290. All right, let's talk about this. This has come out in a variety of publications now here in central Indiana about how much money Hoosiers are spending on marijuana, on cannabis. And I'm using MJ Biz Daily, but several publications had the same article with the same information. The Indiana cannabis market, this is an unbelievable number. And we have talked about for years now how stupid the prohibition laws are in the state of Indiana. Look, I have never smoked marijuana in my entire life. I've never done any sort of illegal substance. Just not my thing. But I also recognize that it is some people's thing. And my thing generally is if it ain't going to kill you and you want to do it in the confines of your own living space and it doesn't affect me, what the hell do I care? I certainly feel very strongly about the legalization for medical purposes. If you're working with a trained medical professional and you want to make that choice with your doctor, why do I care what you do? And the answer is that the government here in Indiana has blocked this because of the pull of our pharmaceutical lobby. They allow people to suffer. They've taken away just basic stuff. Now, we've had this conversation for years. You guys have listened for a long time. There is a huge difference between someone who is using marijuana in their own home, which isn't affecting anyone but them, and someone who's trying to do it in the public square, where I got to smell it and I got to see it. I don't think anybody's talking about that being okay. I don't think anybody's talking about, hey, you can go to town hall and you can, light up in front of everyone. I don't think anybody's talking about that. I'm talking about from a recreational purpose, doing it in your own home, around your own friends, your own yard, whatever. And from a medical purpose, it ain't none of my damn business what you and your doctor decide your best course of medical treatment is. If we don't like the medical advice a doctor's giving, if we think he or she's doing something illegal or unethical, then revoke their medical license. But if we're going to say you're licensed to practice medicine in the state, it's your job to work with the patient and my job to butt out. Okay, so the Indiana cannabis market is $1.8 billion. $1.8 billion of money leaving our state or staying in our state under the table because, as we've said for years, everybody that wants to do it is going to do it. Every person who wants to smoke weed or do gummies or whatever is going to do it in our state, in another state, whatever. Ask Abdul. He brags about it. And it's a big joke, right? Like everybody knows what Abdul does and what he probably has on his, in or around his person, right? He writes about it. He brags about it. He talks about where he goes to get it. Oh, Abdul's leaving the state. Let's follow him. Like if you really wanted to enforce it, right? And so many non-high-profile Hoosiers are the same way. It's a big frickin' joke. We all know everybody who wants to do it is doing it. So if everybody who wants to do it is doing it, why are we, quote unquote, prohibiting them from doing? What are we even prohibiting them from doing? According to this study, 1.3 million Hoosiers use cannabis. We're a state of 7 million people. Take away children, right? Because I would hope most of it is not kids, although I don't know. Like I should probably add that caveat to my how we should do this. Kids can't be doing this. You can't be driving vehicles. Kids can't be doing it. You can't be doing it in a public square. Like all of those things I think should go without saying, but who knows, right? So let's just say we're using a pool of 5 million potential users, right? 5 million-ish adults. 1 out of every 5 people in the state is using cannabis. Anybody who wants to use cannabis is using cannabis. The only thing we're doing by, quote unquote, prohibiting cannabis use is we're prohibiting money coming to our state. We're about to raise taxes by $6.5 billion on 70 because Braun claims we're too broke to pay for the roads. Of course, he's found up to $700 million in new toll tax increases to pay for the Bears to have a free stadium. But when it comes to you and roads you use, well, we're too broke. $180 million annually is the estimated tax revenue that could come into the state of Indiana. $180 million. The stats show that 44% of Indiana residents live within 50 miles of a dispensary, almost half our state. 96% live within 100 miles of a dispensary. Anybody who wants this stuff is getting it. If the argument was we don't want anybody to have it, then okay. Like if it's the 1980s and it's Nancy Reagan and it's Dare to keep kids off of drugs. Okay. All the states around us have it. This is ridiculous. Everybody who wants it is getting it. You know who's winning on this? The pharmaceutical lobby. That's who it is. And are they really actually winning if a fifth of the people are actually getting it? I mean, think about how insane this is. We are a state that spends millions and millions of dollars trying to get people unhooked on dangerous opioids. People die. But there's probably some doctor out here that can correct me on this. Has anyone ever died of a marijuana overdose? Like, if you told me somebody's going to get addicted to something, you say it's weed or opioids. Well, I'm choosing weed for that person and for humanity, right? Again, I'm not a marijuana smoker. I'm crazy enough normal, guys. The worst thing I've done in my life is drink excessively. Many times. But I don't begrudge people who want to do their own thing if it doesn't harm me, if it's not harming society, if it's in the confines of their own home. I don't want it in your house. I don't want it in your bedroom. I definitely want you to stay out of both of mine, right? We are costing ourselves. We're stopping nothing but the money that could be coming into our state. The best thing to do with this is accept it is 2026, not 1986. Come in with a robust, sweeping piece of legislation that will regulate this on a variety of fronts, including usage. Heavily enforce, once you allow it to happen, the terms of the usage, which means no more Ryan Mears giving people a free pass. Hey, if we're going to set up laws around this and legalize it, and people aren't going to obey by those laws, we give you a severe punishment. With great power comes great responsibility. If we're going to allow the thing to be legal and I'm going to go to bat for you, then I'm going to demand full enforcement of the laws, which means you can't disrupt my day with it. You can't make people unsafe with it. You can't operate a vehicle with it. But these numbers show everybody who wants it, they've got it. Everybody who wants to use it is using it. And all we're doing is costing ourselves money and making pharmaceutical lobbyists happy. Okay, guys, coming up here in a little bit, I know a bunch of people have asked about this. John Piper will be with us. I know you've seen the ads. Look, hey, I told you guys it has nothing to do with his ads, but I voted for the guy the other day just because the two other options were so bad. It was like, doesn't matter what his views are. He ain't the other two guys, right? We're going to ask Piper about all the stuff in the ads. We're going to ask him about the vets. Or like the vets, like the veterinarians, not the Vietnam vets. We're going to ask him about the breast milk. We're going to ask him about the stuff related to his allegations about Iran, the Iranians. Look, he's running for Congress. He is a legitimate candidate for Congress. Like he's on the ballot. And so we will ask him all of the stuff coming up next here in just a few minutes. Yes. Hey, but in the meantime, before that, we still got some other stuff to get to before we get to the Piper interview. Leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is your biggest investment in many cases. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY.com, your masonry foundation and chimney specialist. Okay, you guys know that at the end of the show, we do the YouTube chat, sponsored by Black Sheep Plumbing. And you guys know that in order to be a chatter, which we love all of our chatters, you have to subscribe. You got to be a subscriber. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. And every so often, I try to prompt you guys for something to talk about. You don't have to talk about it, but I just think it's something you guys might be interested in. This is one of those. So I'm going to open this segment up to the YouTube chat, and I'm going to ask you guys what you think about this. This is one where I see both sides. And I see both sides from the standpoint of not what I want, but what I know is reality. This is one of those ones where I have a personal opinion on it, but I know given the track record of court cases, what the likely outcome is, and so I factor that into what I'm talking about. So, I go back and forth. And by the way, the story I'm using comes from WTHR. A whole bunch of media outlets in the city and across the state have covered it. This relates to the IHSAA. They're going to vote on Monday, the Indiana High School Athletic Association, whether to allow high school athletes to profit from their name, image, and likeness, NIL. And there's part of me that is like the traditionalist that says this is the most ridiculous thing ever. We're reaching a point of no return. There's no way we should be allowing this to happen. And then there's the part of me that says I can read court cases. And whether I like it or not, I can see how judges have ruled in cases, what they have allowed to happen. And if I know something's going to be allowed to happen, I would like a governing body to put as many restrictions on it as they can and will be allowed to do by a court of law and prevent the Wild West ridiculousness that has happened in the NCAA. Look, there's the old saying, right? You can, if a train's coming down the track, you can stand in front of it and get run over, or you can get on the train and try to drive it. The NCAA got run over. They had for years with ridiculous rules and restrictions and regulations. And now it's the Wild West, and it sucks. It's ridiculous. And now they're trying to put the genie back in the bottle, and they're having a hard time with it. It appears the IHSAA has seen this, seen what happened, and said, hey, courts tend to be more on your side if you give in a little bit, but you put restrictions around things. So we're going to explore doing that. Again, it doesn't mean that it's the way I want it. It doesn't mean it's going to be best for these kids. It means it's the reality of the world we live in. Paul Neidig, who is the IHSAA commissioner, said, you basically alluded to this, and I'll get what he said here in just a moment. So here's what the restrictions look like, okay? If you're a high school student, you can sell yourself however you want. If a car dealer wants to give you money to appear at their event or promote their product, they can do that. But what the IHSAA is going to crack down on and not allow is anything that relates to the school. The schools can't broker the deals. The schools can't pay you. You can't use their facilities. You can't use their uniform. So you can't use anything related to the school. And I hear that, and then I go, okay, how many high school athletes, especially if you take away the school support, the jersey, the facilities, how many people know any high school athlete in their community other than like a very tippy top guy? Look, I mean, you've got some guys, mostly in the basketball orbit, that are known from the time they're in 8th grade. They're that good, right? That person may be able to get a deal with Best Buy or McDonald's, a national deal. But in your community, look, I can't, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to demean anybody on the team, but I can't tell you one kid on the Brownsburg High School basketball team. I used to be able to tell you every kid when we actually gave a damn about high school basketball in our state. I used to be able, when I was a kid, tell you every player, all 10 or 12 of them every year. Now, I couldn't tell you one kid on the high school basketball team. Can you on yours? I can tell you one or two guys on the Brownsburg High School football team because they won 2 back-to-back state championships. The quarterback and like one other player. Most people, average people, now there are like obviously people that are super into these sports that can tell you all the people. But the average person can't either. That's the first part of it. You take away the jersey, you take away the school facilitating the deal, you take away the facility where they play. You see that kid at a Walmart, nobody knows who he is or she is. So that brings us to the second part of this, which is how many deals are there actually going to be? Hey, if you're Mendoza at IU and you've won the Heisman and the national championship, well, bully on you. You're going to get a crap ton of deals because people know you. They see your face every week. You're a national figure. A high school kid's a high school kid. Nobody knows who they are, especially like if they play football, they wear helmets. That, which brings me to the second part of what business is actually going to give them any sort of substantial amount of money. Like, would anybody, and again, it is not in any way meant to demean any player, any person. A lot of fine high school athletes out there. Unless you have a nationally known star who you know, hey, he's going to Duke, right? This guy's going to Duke. He's the Gatorade Player of the Year, if that still exists. I don't even know if that still exists anymore. Who's going to go to a business to meet a high school kid? Like, in the days of Damon Bailey, that would have happened. Lots of people would have gone to meet Damon Bailey. You know how many Damon Baileys there are? One. So I'm not as concerned about this because I don't think you're going to have a flood other than the tippy top guys getting any sort of money. Look, when I was in high school, I had a job. I had multiple jobs. I worked places, people paid me. It was labor. If you're a high school athlete anymore, in many ways, especially if you're good, that kind of is your job. And if I was able to make $7 an hour, which was a lot of money back then, not even the minimum wage anymore, but 25 years ago, then if somebody can make a couple $100 appearing somewhere, okay. Here's what Paul Neidig said, and I thought there was some reason to this. And again, I'm not saying I'm in support of this. I'm not. I just know what the court rulings have been. I know how the courts have punished the NCAA because they wouldn't allow anything within reason, so they say, we will take it all away from you. We're going to just let the Wild West happen since you wouldn't get in front of it. That's why Trump's trying to solve the issue now. And the NCAA, it appears, is about to enact some new restrictions off of Trump's executive order, but it'll get challenged in court. Paul Neidig, the commissioner for the NCAA, said, quote, you can't sell, in our opinion, what you don't own. Students own their name. We've already established. That's the court cases. But you don't own the school's name. You don't own the uniform. They don't own the facility. So to be able to monetize off of that, we think that shouldn't be done. But if they can do it within their own name, we're certainly perfectly fine with that. And that's basically, in a nice way, what he's saying, what I just said. You're not selling the school. So this is different than the NCAA and the NILs, than the co-ops and everything there. They're saying most businesses, they're not going to give a high school kid an appearance fee. They're not going to give a high school kid an endorsement fee. There may be some people local merchants who do it out of kindness, but we're not talking 5-figure deals, 6-figure deals. We're not talking a plethora of them. So this will be voted on Monday. The IHSAA is made up of 19 school administrators from across the state. According to WTHR, the proposal would require athletes to notify their athletic director in writing within 48 hours of signing a personal branding deal. So anywhere you're getting money from, you have to notify the school. And the proposal forbids deals for products, for services that promote gambling, alcohol, tobacco, cannabis, performance-enhancing substances, sexually explicit material, or guns and weapons. Again, it's the world in which we live. It's the Wild West in college athletics. I think the NCAA is trying to get ahead of this to the best of their ability. And if you can't use the school or the uniform or the facility or the mascot, I think there's going to be very few kids that are going to get this on any sort of level that could ruin their existence. Hey, buying a home or thinking about refinancing, work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow. He's your guy with Verity Mortgage. Helps home buyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple. Clear advice, personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes. Loansbygary.homes or call 317-695-5179 to learn more to get started today. You've got nothing to lose, but potentially dollars on your mortgage payment. Loansbygary.homes. Loansbygary.homes. Okay, we'll take a break. He joined us yesterday via Zoom. It was everything we thought it'd be. We had a chat with John Piper, candidate for Congress. We asked him about all the stuff in the ad that you guys said you wanted to know. We asked him about the allegations related to the vets, the veterinarians, the allegations related to the breast milk, and the allegations related to the Iranians. Talk about all of it when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, and I'm here on the Wilson family farm to tell you the truth. Am I allowing China to buy our farmland? No. I'm doing the opposite. I want to kick China's butt, and my record clearly proves it. Some say I'm against Trump. I'm against D.C. insiders trying to scheme away our state and local freedoms. I stand for what is right, regardless of who is in charge in D.C. I stand with you. Do you want a proven leader, a principal, or a political puppet? I ask for your vote on May 5th.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002 or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with App Properties. Born and raised right here in Central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheatham.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
It is the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Joined by John Piper. He is running for Congress in the 4th Congressional District. John, hello.
Hi. Appreciate you having me. Thank you very much.
Okay, so you are running against Craig Haggard, against Jim Baird. People have seen your ads. We have had so many requests to have John Piper on the program. Why are you running for Congress?
There's a couple of different reasons. The two primary reasons are that I witnessed in my own backyard human trafficking and sex trafficking. And 17 years ago, I went to a fundraiser on Geist with Mike Pence when he was still a congressman, and he invited John Barrasso out of Wyoming. And it started polite and nice, and it got ugly real fast. Barrasso was here to recruit students to get seats for his state at Purdue Vet School. We only graduate 86 doctors a year. So the seats are the most coveted thing in all academia across America. So I looked at him and I said, you need your own school. Now, everybody knows I own an animal hospital, one of the biggest in the entire Midwest. We can't staff our hospital because of the massive veterinarian crisis we have across the country. We're 55,000 veterinarians short. So Pence and I kind of got into it. Mike Pence started defending Barrasso, his friend. And I said, we can't give our seats in Indiana to out-of-state people. We can't just keep 43. And I want to share this with your audience because this applies to everybody's dog and cat, but to your entire food supply. By the way, big things happening at Capitol Hill today in regards to this. But we can't just graduate 43 veterinarians a year at Purdue. We pay for Purdue.
John, hang on a second. I want you to clarify this. You are a respected veterinarian. That's what you do for a living. You own a vet shop in Greenwood.
I own a veterinary hospital. My wife is the doctor. I'm the business manager. I built the hospital. I run the business.
Okay.
So that's where we are.
So that's why you're passionate about this. And where do these other spots go? Are they to foreigners?
Yes, that it broke our heart. For the first time in 16 years, we've been allowed to interview one person graduating from Purdue. He literally lives down the street. She came into us. We have been thrown off of Purdue's campus for trying to get the names, emails, and phone numbers of any graduating veterinarians. Dr. Jim Wiseman said you're not allowed to have them. This is restraint of trade like you've never seen before. So we'll get to that in a little bit later. But really important, we found out not only are half of the seats, 43, going to veterinarian students from other states, they're also going to students from China. China's our enemy. China's trying to poison all of us. Ever remember this Chinese scientist from IU bringing in weapons-grade E. coli? We found out 4 other scientists at University of Michigan from China were doing the same thing. So we're educating other students. Now, people want to know, why would we be educating students from other states in veterinary school? This is important, Rob. The whole world needs to see this map. We've called the White House. I've been to D.C. 5 times in 2 years to testify. These red states have no Purdue. They have no veterinary medical school, no legal veterinarians in 23 states. That's why when I say it's the most coveted seat in all academia, on average, we graduate 5,200 nationwide veterinarians. But we lose 6,500 to retirement or getting cancer or dying. I know this personally because my wife had Hodgkin's lymphoma in 17 and 18. She couldn't work for 3 years. We couldn't replace her. We found out it was a bigger crisis than we ever knew.
Okay, John, so help people understand, because I know you're very passionate about this. Is this why you're running for Congress, so that these conversations get front and center?
Yes, we have to have a healthy food supply. I have a very large family, 9 brothers and sisters, 35 nieces and nephews. We have a lot of African Americans in our family. When we started paying attention, because not everybody does really well, we started looking into how many children have cancer. In our family, we have several children with autism and other mental disorders. And we really believe, like my wife's Hodgkin's lymphoma, it was contracted from something in the environment. And I want to jump in real quick and say something. Jim Baird is Dr. Jim Baird. It's one of the reasons he's been part of the legislature and now Congress trying to bring all these out-of-state students in. He's working for Purdue on the backside. We can't argue it. We need veterinarians. We don't have any veterinarians on farms and ranches. 300 million go to slaughter or animals that we've never seen a veterinarian. So reason I'm running for Congress, I wanted to stop the human sex trafficking. We've closed down 2 major houses, one in Canby, one in Greenwood. Again, I own an animal hospital. We do canine units for the DEA, the FBI, and we have found out that Indianapolis is the crossroads of America for all human sex and drug trafficking. One of the people that brought it to my attention was Jaco Boyens. You know Jaco?
Hey, real quick,
I want to South African. He didn't.
Hey, real quick, John, I just want to introduce you to everybody again.
Go ahead.
And by the way, we can hear you fine, John. Your screen is a little pixelated, but we can hear you fine. So that's what matters most. John Piper's our guest. He's running for Congress in the 4th Congressional District. We're talking about why he's running. We just talked about the veterinary issue. You also have talked about in your ads, and this has gotten a lot of attention, breast milk. What's going on with breast milk?
Well, I'm going to give credit to Congressman Anna Luna today, went on the floor of the House, and she got the exemptions for the pesticide companies pull out of the new farm bill. It's huge on capital. She got a lot of support. Thomas Massey and a lot of others got on board with it. What's happening is from the contrails to just the farmers and ranchers are using pesticides in the field. Well, the pesticides, they go onto the soil, they go into the grass and the grain. That's what our animals eat. From there, it gets into their system, into the meat supply. So when we slaughter these animals that have too much of these chemicals in their body, whether it's from contrails, and by the way, huge story with this scientist right here, a whistleblower from the Air Force, talking about what the government has been spraying coming down on all of us. It gets into the animal, and just follow the bouncing cancerous tumor, if you will. It gets into the animal, it gets into their meat, it goes into the slaughterhouse. From there, moms and dads ingest it, or moms ingest it. What happens then? It gets into the mom's body, it goes into her breast milk, and it contaminates the child while it's still in the womb. And then when mom starts breastfeeding, the child is eating or drinking contaminated breast milk. So what we've decided is to use a prop from Donald Trump. make breast milk healthy again. And we know a lot of these sick animals are forced into the fast food industry. And where's the majority of that being fed? To the African-American community, the poor white community, the poor Hispanic community in the inner city. So we wanted to raise attention. This has to stop. And I've tried to be as nice and polite as possible, but boy, oh boy, it's getting worse. You can go on my website and see documents like this, and they literally, the American Veterinary Medical Association is talking about we're 55,000 veterinarians short, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse. And I don't want to offend anybody's political opinions here, but Jim Banks just went to Purdue a couple of weeks ago and lied his butt off, saying how great Purdue is, how they're prepared. We are 600 veterinarians short here in Indiana. 600. Where's my Purdue? Here.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, real quick. I want to make sure we get to all these things in the short amount of time we have. You mentioned in your ad, and your ads are fascinating to people. You mentioned you're very concerned about what's going on in Plainfield related to a potential Iranian terrorist cell. Tell us about that. What are you concerned about?
Okay. So, again, I do DEA. We do service and maintenance on K9 units for the FBI, the DEA, and even border security. They live in the Center Grove area, primarily where I'm at. So my wife's been a veterinarian for 30 years. She's got a great rapport with these people. So when I started talking about this, I had people pull me aside. I literally had one of the top DEA agents in all of Indiana pull me aside, and he said, "John, you're wrong." And I said, "I'm not wrong. I saw what's going on." He goes, "No, you're wrong because you only know 10% of how bad it is." And I said, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And he went down the rabbit hole telling me how bad Indiana is with all these different things. So as far as the Plainfield terror cell. And so I brought that up to him because I live within 7 miles of that place. He goes, "We know it's one of the largest Iranian-funded, Hamas-run terror cells in all the United States of America." He said, "The only one bigger is in Dearborn, Michigan." And by the way, bringing that fast forward, that was like 4 years ago. Fast forward, we now know we have this scientist who brought in the biological weapon, the weapons-grade E. coli. He was arrested by the FBI along with 4 other people at the University of Michigan. He was just allowed to go back to China. Everybody's going crazy on Facebook and on X saying, "How can you do that?" They dumbed down his charges to smuggling, which is, a low felony or misdemeanor, and they sent him back. And the reason I was told they did that by FBI agents, they didn't want him getting on the stand and admitting.
John Piper's our guest. John, we lost you there. You're frozen on the screen there, but I think we can still hear you. Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me now, John? Yeah. Okay. Before we let you go, tell everybody about your campaign.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear.
Okay, very good. As long as you can hear us and we can hear you, that's all that matters. Tell us, John, about your campaign. If you were to say, "This is what I would accomplish if I go to Congress, this is how I'd get it done," how would you do it?
Food. The only way we can have healthy food is to have veterinarians. So the 23 states that have no medical school, we're going to get the funding immediately. We're going to build veterinary colleges. We can accomplish that within 2 years. In all the 23 states, which includes John Thune, which includes South Carolina, which includes Kentucky. So we're going to build the vet schools, but most importantly, we're going to double the size of the veterinarians for Hoosier children to go to Purdue. Purdue can double the size of their veterinary class in a blink of an eye. Mike Pence has fought it. Mike Braun, they have all fought Purdue, increasing the number of students. Why? It's a state school, and we're not going to allow Chinese doctors to come in and steal our seats at Purdue Vet School. Make breast milk healthy, make our food healthy for Hoosiers. It's the most important thing outside of water that we have, right? Governance means you have to respect your people. You have to give them safety. The first rule of governance is safety, whether it's border safety, food, or water. We have to have healthy food. And by the way, right now, Donald Trump's people are saying it's national security. So we think the president's going to be on board with us. We're going to make food healthy again. I'm going to be there with Bobby Kennedy, but we're going to stop the human sex and drug trafficking. Indianapolis is a sanctuary city. We're a sanctuary state, and we're going to bring that to a halt.
John Piper, if people want to find you on your website, they want to find out what you're doing, how can they do that?
PiperForCongress.com.
There you go.
One word, PiperForCongress.com.
Easy to remember. John Piper, people have seen the ads. They were like, "We got to learn about this guy." I said, "He's very interesting." You are that, my friend. Thank you.
Hey, have a great day. Appreciate you letting me on the show.
Yeah, you're watching Rob Kendall Show.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, representing the Wabash Valley by listening and never compromising our shared values. That's why I'm the only Senate candidate endorsed by Indiana Right to Life, the NRA, Indiana Realtors, professional firefighters, and the Indiana Farm Bureau. These endorsements are from the good people from Indiana and for Indiana, a sign of trust that I have built and results that you can count on. I'm Senator Greg Good, and I respectfully ask for your vote in the Indiana Republican primary.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434, and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheatham.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget, if you haven't yet, don't make the mistake of waiting. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the like button. Are you telling me you need me to do that? Yeah. Well, that's where you left it.
I said you might need to adjust.
Oh, I got you. Hit the thumbs up button. Like the program. Yes, we're in our makeshift studio. It'll look different. We got in here though. Knock on wood. Fingers crossed, everything's still working. But yes, that is a curtain behind me, by the way. And if you guys want to, when you get done with the show today, on Twitter at Rob M. Kendall, I kind of did a little panorama of the room. It'll look very, very different here in the coming days. Also, we're hoping for those of you who are part of our great merch deal a couple weeks ago, Jason is hoping the books will be here this weekend so we can send those out hopefully on Monday or Tuesday of next week. I have my part of it all ready to go. Just waiting on his books to show up. But hey, guys, real quick. Again, if you haven't yet, please hit the thumbs up button, like the show. That really helps us out as we try to grow this program. And that's what the phase we're entering now. The first couple weeks, first 9 weeks, which we're wrapping up today, all about establishing this thing, getting it on, getting it up, making it look good, all of those things. Now we are entering the growth phase. We're going 9 to noon, beginning Monday. That's because of the popularity of the show, and we're in our place now. And so all the things now will enable us to do new stuff, put new segments together, change the way kind of that we do the show. We're entering the growth phase of this program. I told you guys all the way back when I was in my bedroom doing those Facebook and Twitter videos, I am not stopping. It doesn't matter what platform I'm on. Politicians did their little victory lap, and I said, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. We have an audience now that's more engaged than ever before, and now we have to grow that. Once we get the people, we keep them. Once we get people here, we keep them, and that's where we're going now. It's about getting more people, growing this product, growing this show every single day. We cannot let the politicians win. Not letting them win. All right. Let me tell you about our friends at Vent Savvy. John, big fan of our show. John's the owner of Vent Savvy, handyman extraordinaire. You know, he was going into people's houses and doing all these projects. He started looking at people's, the vent fans, right? And he started looking at the way they were installed. He said, you know what, these are installed wrong in so many houses. They're probably not doing their job. And then he started looking at them and he realized, yeah, they're not doing their job at all. And that is getting moisture out of the house. Moisture from when you take a shower, getting it out of your house. Because when you don't, it can build up in your walls, in your attic. It can cause mold, a whole lot of problems. That's why he started Vent Savvy. So here's what you do. You go to ventsavvy.com, VENTSAVVY.com, VENTSAVVY.com. You schedule a totally free consultation. John's going to come out to your house free of charge. He's going to look at your vent, see if it's installed properly, see if it's working properly, free of charge. He's going to crawl up in your attic, see if there's water damage, if there's mold up there, free of charge. And then he'll report back. Are there things that need to be done? How much will it cost you to do them? You get the info, you make the choice. No obligation to anything. Head over to ventsavvy.com, VENTSAVVY.com. And to get that free consultation, you got to say, hey, I heard about you on Rob's show. VENTSAVVY.com. All right, let's laugh about something, because Abdul and I got into this on State House Happenings this week, and I thought, well, this would be fun to get into on our regular show as well. By the way, if you haven't checked out, under our videos tab, State House Happenings also has its own tab. Each week, we do 30 minutes of the fastest news, politics, government, fastest, just basically a bunch of speed stuff. Biggest stories of the week. We hit them in 30 minutes. If you haven't checked it out, give us a shot. When you get done here today, check it out. Been at State House Happenings for basically 10 years now. And it's one of my favorite things we do each week. I love doing State House Happenings. Give us a shot. I think you'll enjoy it. But we got into this a little bit on State House Happenings. I thought, well, I got some more time to get into it here on the show, so I'll do that. And it's not the thing, it's the response to the thing that's interesting to me. People on the internet are ridiculous. And so Abdul, every so often, probably 2 or 3 times a year, he does what he calls an informal survey. And what he does is he posts this online. And he says, hey, if you're following me, you're probably, pretty into or paying attention to Indiana politics and government. And I'm curious what you're thinking about things. And so he'll put out what he calls an informal survey. And what he does with this informal survey is he puts some reasonable level of safeguards around them. You can only take the survey once from each IP address. And you have to enter your zip code. So really, you got to really want to try to skew the survey in order to rig it, right? It's not scientific. He doesn't ever pretend it's scientific. It's not sample sized. It's 700 people. He who goes first gets to take the survey, right? It's not so many black people. It's not so many men. It's not so many women. It's not so many from this area or that area. It's just a frickin' fun thing that he does. Or, hey, I'm curious what you're thinking. So He does this 2 or 3 times a year. And every time he does this, if people don't like the results, they go, well, that's not scientific. And he's always like, well, I never said it was scientific. I'm not trying to make it scientific. I'm trying to make sure it's humans who take it. You got to enter enough information that I know you're a human. And it's 1 IP address per survey. So could you theoretically take 3 or 4 if you really wanted to? Sure. But I think you get interesting information. And oftentimes when he's done these surveys, they're not that far off from an actual result of an election. Now, doesn't mean it would be this time. But I thought the results were interesting enough to talk about because it tells you what 700 people who are really paying attention to politics actually think about the people in politics. That's what I get out of the survey. Not some end-all be-all on how people are going to vote other than the people who are in the know. And I think that can tell us some things. But the outrage, and we'll get to the results here in a second. But just the ridiculous outrage from people who don't like the results of what people said, screaming at Abdul about something he never claimed it to be, which is a scientific poll. It's not. It's how 700 people who pay attention to politics feel about politics. That's it. So here's what people said. Braun, Beckwith, Diego, hated. The people who are in the know and pay attention cannot stand any of these people. Braun's approval rating, 18% approve, 73% disapprove. Now, before you start hooting and hollering about the unscientific stuff, there have been multiple polls that have come out that are scientific polls that don't show Braun much better than 1873. Remember the home county poll? How bad he was doing in that one? There was another poll related to the statewide that showed him not that much better. Like I think he was in the 20s, the low 20s, mid 20s in those polls. So the people paying attention aren't that much different from the public at large, according to multiple polls. Micah, even worse. 14% approve, 75% disapprove. My question is, who the hell are the 14% who approve? Approve of what? Him rolling around in his taxpayer-funded SUV doing nothing? Like, I would love to ask those people, what do you approve of? He doesn't do anything. He does nothing. Nothing. But even worse, 14% approve, 75% disapprove, with 57% strongly disapproving. And here was the most interesting part of the survey from Micah, on Micah, how people respond to Micah. According to Abdul, 2/3 of correspondents say they think he knows more than he's letting on about the Life Church scandal. Of course, they're talking about the son of the lead pastor. So Micah's best friend, boss, and podcast co-host is Nathan Peternell. Nathan Peternell's son was arrested and convicted for heinous crimes against children. The body cam footage, Nathan Peternell's adult son, Jonathan, was living at Nathan's house. The body cam footage shows that when police raided that house and seized the devices, that they told both Nathan and his wife what Jonathan was accused of that day. There was no doubt. It's on the body cam footage. Everybody who wants to see it at this point has seen it. Multiple news outlets have released it. They knew exactly what Jonathan was accused of that day, and they hid it from the church. They let Jonathan back into the church where little children were present. They hid it from church staff. And Nathan and Micah then later went back and deleted very select episodes from years ago of their podcast that didn't look good for them. And so 2/3 of people in the know, at least, who are paying attention, think Micah knew a lot more than what he said he knows about what was going on. And that's bad when it relates to you knew more than what you're letting the public thinks you knew more than what you let on. If it relates to some guy going down for heinous crimes against kids. Doesn't mean Micah did know more. It just means the public thinks he did overwhelmingly, who are paying attention. All right, let's talk about Diego. This was fascinating. So, and it's kind of interesting the way Abdul did this with Diego. He asked people who their preference was for Secretary of State. Not just Shelton, David Shelton, who's the Republican running against Diego at convention. He put everybody on the board, said, okay, all of the people who have declared. So what is that? Is that 7? No, that's 6, right? So it's David Shelton, Diego, the Republicans, Bobai and Blythe Potter, the Democrats, Ballard, the Independent, and Lori Schillings, the Libertarian. He put them all out and said, who do you prefer? So he put them all on the board. And again, like I said, this is why I find the outrage like hilarious from people who don't like the results. It's like you would never do a scientific poll this way. Of the people of the 6 people there who were listed, Ballard was first with 33%. That is, and I'll come back to why that's interesting in a second. Bai was second with 26. Shelton was third with 17. Diego was fourth with 14%. Now, that's interesting for a variety of reasons. One, obviously, Diego and Shelton are going to do battle at the convention. If Shelton's going to win, he's going to have to run up the score in Marion and the Donut counties, because there's a whole bunch of people across the state who don't get the info on what a piece of garbage Diego is, and they'll vote for him. So the people in the Donut counties and Marion County and even maybe some of the counties that surround the Donut counties, they're in the know. He's going to have to run up the score there. It clearly shows here, because that's primarily, Abdul largely as a central Indiana audience. Those people hate Diego. Now, a lot of Democrats who won't be at convention took this survey. I'm sure some Republicans who won't be at convention took this survey. But it certainly shows with the people in the know, Diego is despised. Now, Ballard is interesting because amongst Abdul's audience, which again tends to be a central Indiana politically based audience, Ballard is in the lead. I've said numerous times, Ballard is not winning this race. Ballard is not winning this race. But Ballard can be a very important figure in the history of Indiana politics if he does well. If Ballard clears the 10% threshold, you have a new political party that has primary ballot access. That's huge. If Ballard does well and keeps the Republican from winning, be it Shelton or Diego, now you not only have a party that will have ballot access, primary ballot access, but they come out of the gate having cost the Republicans an election. And if Ballard gets 33% of the people in central Indiana, which tends to be Abdul's audience, he should easily get the 10% across the state, which means they'll get the primary ballot access. And if he gets 33% of the people in central Indiana and it's Diego, he'll cost Diego the election and will accomplish that. Again, guys, like, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Like, you can look at something like this that Abdul does and go, oh, that's interesting. There's probably some good data points in here. By the way, Lori Schillings, the Libertarian, was at 4%. If Lori Schillings, because she's going to get crushed across the rest of the state, especially if Ballard's on the ballot, the Libertarians are in real trouble of losing their ballot access. Jeff Moore got close to 10% in central Indiana last election cycle. Not across the state. He ended with like 5.5% across the state. But Libertarians almost always do better in central Indiana than they do the rest of the state because people here are more in tune. They know more about them. It's easier for them to get a message out. There's a lot more people who protest, vote, etc. There's a real chance that Lori Schillings, if the Libertarians don't get their act together, she may not get the 2%, and the Libertarians will fall off the ballot potentially going forward. But guys, you can just read stuff for fun. You can read stuff and go, it's not a gospel, but there's some things we can parse out of this that are interesting about who's taking the survey, who's paying attention, who's doing what. It's okay to have some fun with politics. It's okay to read things and not be wholly invested in whatever the results are. By the way, Abdul also asked, of voters who have seen the multi-million-dollar attack ads against senators who voted no on redistricting, 83% said they had no effect. I would buy that from Abdul's audience. I think that's probably right. I don't think people who are in the know, the redistricting thing bothered them one way or another. Okay. Let me tell you about our friends at Seal Now. If you got a driveway that's showing signs of wear, it could be because of freeze-thaw cycles, road salts, environmental buildup like mold and dirt. It can cause your driveway to crack. It can cause your driveway to break. It can be bad. And that's where Seal Now comes in. They're the clean, seal, and stain professionals who can protect your outdoor surfaces. They do incredible work. Decorative concrete patios, stamped concrete, exposed aggregate concrete, sealing, concrete staining to add color with protection, all of that and a lot more with Seal Now. They also do more than just concrete. They do decks, they do pergolas, they do fences, Any exterior concrete or wood outdoor structure, they can renovate it, they can fix it, they can bring it back to life. See their work at sealnow.com. 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 And while you're there, you can get a free estimate, whatever your project is. See the work they do, you like it, they'll give you a free estimate on what it would cost to do that for yours. Then here's where the deal comes in. If you say, I heard about you from the Rob Kendall Show, they're going to take 20% off any long-term ceiling project. It's an amazing deal. It's very generous. Damon and the guys. Damon's a lifelong Hoosier lifer guy right here in central Indiana. They're going to take 20% off your project just by saying, I heard about you on the Rob Kendall Show. All right. Let's do this. I want to give Jason some time for the chat. I got some other topics to get to. Let's go ahead and take our final break. We'll come back. We'll do the best comments today. Tons of comments in the YouTube chat today. We'll get to that. Plus, I got some other topics about inflation that we'll try to get to, about gas prices. Oh my gosh, the gas is so expensive. We'll get to all that and more coming up next. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, and I'm here on the Wilson family farm to tell you the truth. Am I allowing China to buy our farmland? No. I'm doing the opposite. I want to kick China's butt, and my record clearly proves it. Some say I'm against Trump. I'm against D.C. insiders trying to scheme away our state and local freedoms. I stand for what is right, regardless of who is in charge in D.C. I stand with you. Do you want a proven leader, a principal, or a political puppet? I ask for your vote on May 5th.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with App Properties. Born and raised right here in central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about an effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Don't forget, starting Monday, extra hour, 9 until noon. We're going to have all sorts of new great stuff coming up. We're in our new studio. We're going to try to get that worked on over the weekend, get that closer to being ready to go. We're adding the extra hour. Thanks to our friend John Rust, who generously said the world needs more Rob Kendall. He's the first person ever to say the world needs more Rob Kendall. And so we will be able to do that starting on Monday. Lots of cool stuff. We're going to start changing some things up here. We need you guys to help us grow. We're not doing this just to spend an extra hour doing things. Doesn't do us any good if we don't grow. The whole point of doing this is to expand this voice, to get more people tuning in, to get more people hearing what we're doing, so that when we start hammering these local issues, when we start taking on these things, the same way we did before, we're going to be able to have the juice to make it happen. Speaking of that, new column out today, Indy Star, if you guys want to read it. It's all about the feud between the governor and Doug Carter, the former state police superintendent, over Doug Carter blowing the whistle on Tom Kleinhelter, the DuBois County Sheriff, Mike Braun's buddy, being a rotten piece of garbage. And Braun's very bizarre response, where he seems more upset with Carter for blowing the whistle on a corrupt sheriff rather than the corruption of the sheriff. And so it's up at Indy Star now. You guys can read that, share that out. We're rolling. It's going awesome. But we need you guys to help us keep this up. We're really close to breaking through and doing some great, great things. And we're going to do our part, but we got to have you guys help build us up, help grow this thing, push it out. Hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. That is a huge part of us growing this program. Hit that thumbs up button. Share the feed, Facebook, Twitter. If you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, you can help us out by doing that as well. We're the little engine that could. We're going to keep things going. And look, I know a lot of you guys are, and we're going to bring Jason in here in just a minute, talk about the YouTube chat. A lot of you guys were into that Piper interview. And the guy's a clear underdog, right? He's got two guys who are super funded. In the case of Jim Baird, he's a complete piece of trash who Frank mails like it's going out of style. He has spent our country into oblivion. Haggard's got a lot of special interest behind him. Piper going to win? Probably not. But it's an interesting voice. And, you know, I love interesting. And that's what our show is about. Our show is about giving people voices. People we agree with, people we disagree with. That's why we're here. Other people are not doing this. And we are good enough to make it interesting. That's the key. Other people who have bigger platforms than us, real opportunities to be a voice, to hold these politicians accountable, to talk about key issues, they're not doing it. Sometimes because they don't know how. They just really don't know much about politics or government. So instead of learning, they just read the headlines. Every person with a platform should be talking about these things, and that's why we got to grow. We have to grow because other people won't do it. One of the reasons we're here is our fabulous sponsors, and one of those is our good friend Lauren Wilson, Realtor Extraordinaire with That Properties, 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290. Lauren is local. She's a Hoosier lifer, Central Indiana lifer, military vet, and her goal is to make sure that you have the best home buying experience imaginable. Lauren and I were talking. She was here with us a couple weeks ago doing that Central Indiana real estate update, and we were talking about, she was like, sometimes I just tell people don't buy a house. It's like, really? It's like, doesn't that cost you money? She's like, yeah. It's like, how do you do that? She goes, well, it's the right thing to do. So that, and it really said a lot about Lauren. We were talking about how much money that costs her when she tells people, yeah, don't buy that house. And she said, I got to look myself in the mirror. I got to know that for years you're going to be wherever we, put you. And she said, that's way more important to me than money. That's why we love Lauren Wilson. She's all about local. She's all about the experience. She's all about making sure you're comfortable with your home buying or selling process. Get to know her. Lauren Wilson with At Properties. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. And with that, it's so weird to see you come on the screen in person now.
It's always weird to see me coming on screen at any time. Can you hear me? Hopefully I can be heard.
Well, your meters are moving.
My meter's moving, which means I should be able to be heard right now. And I've graduated from a hard metal folding chair to a padded folding chair.
So producer Jason has, along with Ethan Hatcher, everybody listen to Saturday Night on the Circle, Saturdays 7 to 9 on IBC. And look, guys, I tell you this all the time. A lot of those people at IBC have been really good to me since I've left. I talk to Hammer. I talk to Nigel all the time. Ryan Hedrick is awesome. Ethan's been awesome.
Yeah, Ethan came out and did some work last night, helped us out, drilled some holes.
Some people are dishonest, untalented, backstabbing a-holes, but there's
well, at least there's no animosity there.
Look, if you just wanted the job to be a certain way, that's all you had to say.
Right.
You didn't have to stab me in the back. Anyway, and, maybe someday we'll tell the whole story.
Oh, yeah, we need, when you're,
someday.
There'll be a point,
we won't get into it now, but someday maybe we'll tell the whole story. But anyway, Ethan has been awesome. Great friend, great guy. Everybody should totally listen to Saturday Night on the Circle, 7 to 9. But my point on all this, on Saturdays, which would make sense since it's Saturday Night on the Circle. My point, I'll get to the YouTube. I just want to say you and Ethan worked your asses off yesterday.
And all we came up with was a black hostage set.
You did so much more than just that. So thank you for all you're doing to make this show what it is.
This should have been like 8 weeks ago. This is where what should have started, but we kind of regressed a little bit. But yeah, we've got like stuff laying around here that we're going to be putting. So we'll have a different backdrop. We'll actually be turning the entire studio. We just came in last night. It's like, we got to get on tomorrow. I'm not driving to Fountain Square tomorrow. We're going to get on the air, and we're going to do it here. Your mom would be really upset with the wrinkles in that.
So Jason's do you think your mom would come in and iron our curtains for us?
No, I said, don't ask your mom, because I said she probably will, and they'll fall out. Well, that's just a soundproofing thing, technically, so the people won't complain behind us. But it's like, well, that'll be good for Rob and my desk. That's my desk.
Yeah, we'll have a new desk.
Rob's got a new desk.
We got soundproofing stuff, all sorts of things. It's all a whip, a work in progress.
That's right. This chat made possible by Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to the plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. And Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Call John McKinney. He's a Hoosier lifer. He'll hook you up, help you out, take care of you. 765-315-7558. 765-315-7558. Black Sheep Plumbing.
All right, what did our friends have to say today?
A lot of good stuff in the chat today, and I think I'm being heard okay. According to, let's see, Andy Ingalls said we hear you. Yeah, okay, good. Boom.
We got new mics, too.
Oh, we got new mics. Do you like the new mics, guys? I've been holding on to these for like 2 months now.
Those are
did not want to take them anywhere they could be handled by other people. Nobody fondling our mics but us. That's the way it should be. It's the way God intended. The 06010 board, well, he didn't start us off. We're going into the John Piper stuff.
Yeah.
Well, since I just said his name, he said, new studio has the asbestos, lead paint, and radon that the Spangle studio couldn't provide. No, thank you so much to Chris Spangle. Matter of fact, our light stand, a lot of the stuff here I copied is like, that works, so I'm just going to go out and buy the same stuff Chris has. And he was very incredibly helpful.
So for those of you who don't know, Chris Spangle was the digital guy for Bob and Tom for years. I've known Chris for probably 15 years now. He was Abdul's producer when he was on X&T. And Chris, when I got let go at IBC, was like, you got to do a podcast, and was one of the first people to reach out and said, you can use my studio, you can, all of this. And he has been so helpful along the way. Chris is now the digital guy for IBJ, handles all the podcasting. They do tons of podcasting with IBJ. And we can't thank him and Robert Vane enough for allowing us the space to get this thing off the ground. And like you said, we stole a bunch of his ideas and brought them over. Because in our business, plagiarism is the greatest form of flattery.
Stealing is the way to go. Oh, Mad Duck says a steamer will work on those curtains, but that'd be a lot of work. We don't. We've got a really cool. Well, I say really cool. I don't want to build it up too much, but I think we're going to have a pretty cool backdrop for Rob. It's a work in progress, as the show has been for 2 months. L.T. Wilson, we're talking about John Piper. Piper takes care of my dogs. Oh, Dr. Piper, Mrs. Piper, takes care of my dogs.
Yeah.
She's awesome, says L.T. Wilson. Theller09, thank you, Rob, for giving platform for Mr. Piper to explain this situation. Mad Duck, this is an outright attack on our pets and, in turn, us.
Okay, let me pause for a second because I want to talk about this because I know they've tried to label Piper as a total kook, nut job, whatever, right? Some people have.
Mm-hmm. His opponents.
Yeah, and I look, I think Piper's a guy, and I was thinking about this, when you used to interview people, I know you weren't paying attention most of the time, but when I interview people, I think I hear the answer, obviously from an interviewer perspective, but then I think okay, how does this play to the people who are hearing it?
Right.
And
because when you go into the interview, you have more facts than the listener usually has.
Right. And so when he was talking about the vet stuff, because he only has so much time in the ad, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
And then he goes into detail on the vet stuff with Purdue. And it was it's too bad. A guy like Piper really makes campaign financing a worthy argument because it's Baird and Haggard have so much more money than he does and the support of the establishment. That stuff he was saying about the vets and what's going on with Purdue, I was listening to that going, that's very, very intriguing to me. Now, some of the stuff could have been wrong, right? Or maybe he's slightly off, but there appears to be a clear issue with vets in this country and what Purdue is doing with their vets.
You saw the background in his ad and in that interview where he's got all this stuff on the wall. I've been in there. It's a huge room. It's the size of a cafeteria, and every inch of the wall has stuff plastered on there. And I mean, it's he went through it. And it's pretty amazing.
The breast milk stuff, when he explained it, is interesting. He's a guy that if
he's too cerebral to be a politician.
Well, and sometimes the presentation stuff, right? And that's if he had the same access to money and this is where it comes back to, I hate to even say this, if he had the right sort of handlers. That's probably a horrible way to say it.
Campaign manager.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Because the vet stuff was very enthralling. And if he'd have just been able to have a platform and run on that, that's the sort of America First stuff when he's talking about China and the Chinese vets.
Right.
And if you haven't heard it yet, after the show's done, and we'll post the interview, go back and listen to it. Haggard and Baird are not saying anything close to that.
No,
and it's
no.
Okay, this is different. It's interesting. Those two guys are plastic people, and then you got this guy, and it's well, he's interesting.
He's a real person.
Yeah.
Steve Green with an E. This dude has receipts. Shrog Samich, he's fired up. I like this. Talking about Piper. Susan Dragovich, he is absolutely 100% correct. LD Stoltz, so at first glance, John seems like a good guy. I think he just needs to slow down and examine the ideas with people. He's ADD or something.
Well, sure, right?
He's just trying to get a lot of information out.
Well, that's where it comes back to, again, here's the thing about Jim Baird. I don't know if I've ever seen Jim Baird do an interview.
Mm-hmm.
He's 8 million years old. I don't know if he even can do an interview at this point. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Haggard, who the last time I did an interview with him, he just lied to me. So it's okay, so they sound good lying, right? Is that what we want? Yeah, the guy's kind of spasmodic a little bit, but he's got a lot of stuff and I think he said this. He's running to have this stuff out in the forefront.
Right.
Who else is talking about those issues? Nobody is. So,
and it'll just, unfortunately, probably go away after the election.
Right, because he can't get a platform, he can't get interviewed like people did or doing TV hits. They're not even including him in the conversation. Right. And this is why, Secretary of State, we've interviewed everyone but Diego. Next week, as long as we're up and ready, I'm going to send Diego that email. Now, we all know he ain't coming on the show, but we interviewed the people.
We'll put him in a hostage seat.
No, we'll put him in a nice desk, and he'll be treated with dignity. But the point is, we interview people all the time with basically no chance to win because we believe in voices. We believe in these people having a platform. If you're able to run for public office, if you meet that criteria, everybody deserves to have the same voice.
Couple more on Piper. Benita Christensen.
Dr. Piper treated my adopted dog for heartworm. Several months of treatment. Got on her knees to treat my baby. Frank is very healthy now. Small world.
Yeah, it's
There
great.
you go. All right. Vic Ferrari asked Piper if he wants to adopt me. Yeah, probably got a couple bucks. Drain the swamp. He's got my vote. All right. So everybody enjoyed the Piper interview, it looks like.
I think the politicians underestimate just how sick of the it is not the word I want to use, but I will use, people are in this country. And it's easy to go like, oh, Piper, he's a kook. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But people see that and they go, you know what? We are being sold out to foreigners. A lot of people believe that, right? A lot of people see that. We talk about the HB1 workers coming in. And so whether he's spot on with the vet stuff or not, he seems to have his stuff in order. A lot of people hear that and go, I like that. Somebody's finally speaking up for American workers. I will tell you, when and a lot of our longtime listeners remember Bruce, my bulldog. And one of the issues that we had with Bruce towards the end was when he got sick, we had trouble getting him in to see the vet because there was and they acknowledged this. They said, especially post-COVID, which is exactly what he said, that we have had trouble getting and keeping workers post-COVID. We had to take him to another vet service who ultimately he got better for a while when he went to that other vet. But it was like, I've experienced that you can't get in to see a vet. So I don't think he's totally out in left field on that.
Yeah, it's something you never really ever think about. Jack the Libertarian. Ethan helped Rob. Now he will be sent home. No, actually, because we keep asking, Ethan, are you sure? His name said, yeah, his bosses know. They know he came over and helped and everything. Everything's cool. So, Rob may be the only one with a chip on his shoulder. I don't know, but everybody's cool now. The old man. So we're going back to the beginning of the chat.
I was going to say the old man was first.
The old man 68. I told Rob when I came in, it's like, oh no, I'm going to beat the old man 68. I'm going to get on there and put something. He was already on. It's Friday. Everybody do the happy dance. Reed Porter, TGIF. New studio today. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. And these were all before the show even started. These were during the 10-minute music countdown.
Yeah.
Steve Green with an E. Good morning, Rob, Jason, and chatters. For the love of all that's holy, please tell me you got the Piper. We did. We fulfilled your dream.
And we'll post that after we get off the air here today. We'll post that up for you guys.
C. Mills. Good morning, all. Ready for another episode of the greatest soon-to-be 9 to 12 show in America, if not the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a lot of pressure.
Yes. Adam Bryan, new people in the chat today. Good morning from the heart of Brownsburg.
Oh, hello, Adam.
Anthony Drew Gary.
Oh, Anthony. Yes, Anthony is running for county council in Brownsburg. He has my vote. I don't endorse anymore, but he got my vote.
Congrats on your first show from the new studio. If you're reading this, get out and vote. That would be to the other chatters. Kenny Ramsey, play that funky music, white boy.
I would be curious to know if there's any of our listeners who don't vote. I would guess that, of our audience, I would think we would have almost 100% voter participation.
They seem to be well informed.
Yeah.
McLevins, Rob, are your articles in the Indy Star online and in the hard copy edition?
I don't know if they put them in the hard copy edition. I don't see the Star got squirrely because they started changing the way they print the paper.
When's the last time you saw a hard copy edition
We
of the
were
Star?
talking about this before we went on the air because the article in the Star today that I wrote about the Braun and Carter feud, and I was like, I can't remember the last time I saw a physical, the county paper, the Republican in Danville, I've seen that.
Right. I see the Daily Journal down on the south side.
But in terms of a big-time publication, no, I can't think of the last time I saw a physical
I think the Daily Journal's thicker than the Star.
Well, the Star, they've been pretty candid about this, and they've been very nice to me that, look, there's not people consuming physical print like there used to be anymore. There's just the money is not. They're kind of doing it as a service at this point.
I'll put something in there people want to read. Maybe they'd sell a paper.
Well, that's why I'm there. That's why I'm there.
That's where we got Rob. Debbie Holcomb, new studio. We're home, honey. Actually, we looked at it like two guys moving out of the parents' house. Like we're sitting on lawn chairs. Got the curtains up. It's like, hey, it's ours.
Yeah.
What the hell? Andy Engel. Oh, I like the sweet table. That'll be my table. Jack the Libertarian. Shiny desk. Andy Engel. Yeah, the desk is grade A. It's like a $29 Amazon desk.
It is pretty nice, though.
Yeah, I like it. By the way, can you hear me breathe when I go, because I hate when that happens. So we're trying to avoid that. So if you hear me go all the time, let us know. Can we, C. Mills, can we make Robblehead T-shirts?
You can make whatever you, well, I don't know. I'd like a cut of that.
Well, I think he means can we do it?
Oh, can we do
probably
it?
Sell them.
Yeah.
That stuff's all coming. We're about 5 weeks behind on everything.
Yeah,
this was supposed to be 5 weeks ago, and we would have been way advanced by now into the merch and all that. But, we're just taking our time and rolling along. There were about 4 or 5 places we looked at, and every place there was some sort of issue. Well, it's like, you either pay $25 for a T-shirt, or you get them in bulk, and they're like when you go to Florida and you get those, 5 T-shirts for $10, and they basically fall apart as soon as you sweat or something. But yeah, so it's hard to find good merch.
And it wasn't like we needed some big place. This is not a big place by any stretch, and it wasn't like we needed a fancy place. There was just always so many, like there was always something with whatever place. It would check 9 out of the 10 boxes, and then we were finally like, this one's close enough.
Adam Bryan, you should have worn a black shirt to be a floating head. All right, let's see. Jack the Libertarian, that mic looks expensive. It is. The old man, 68, is the black curtain there to hide the unfinished construction? There's actually no construction going on behind there, but it will be. That's actually just not even going to be a set. That's just the side, so we're going to be turning everything. We've got a rectangle room, and we're doing side to side.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that'll be changing over the next couple weeks. Bowden JM. The black curtain looks like Rob in a hostage situation.
Yes, that was the joke.
Adam Bryan, I think Rob could talk his way out of being a hostage. Andy Engel. Rob, I hope that someday you have a golden EIB microphone. That'd be way too expensive. C. Mills, Double D's Barbecue tomorrow at 1 o'clock, everybody.
Oh, so he's going.
Double D's Barbecue in Clayton, 1 o'clock sounds like the place.
The great Christopher Mills will be at Double D's Barbecue.
There we go. Like. I have a feeling a few other listeners might be there as well. Nicholas Kurtz at Producer Jason. Good morning, legend. Thank you for carrying Rob. He likes to remind me that daily. I appreciate that.
Who is
daily affirmation.
Who is it says that?
That's Nicholas Kurtz.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Mad Duck. Thank you at Ethan Hatcher.
Yes, thank you,
Ethan did a fabulous job. C. Mills. C. Mills. Shout out to Ethan. Nicholas Kurtz. Ethan Hatcher. If you can see this, thank you, brother. He can also hear it. Steve Green with an E. Thank you, Ethan. Ethan did a fabulous job for us. Josh Richardson, way to be a great friend, Ethan. Steve Green with an E. I don't remember my assessment. Now we're talking about assessments.
Yes.
I don't remember my assessment going down when real estate crashed in 2008.
Yeah, that's funny how that works, isn't it?
Don B. 2260Z. Rob is such a professional, he doesn't even need earphones.
That's right.
I asked Rob, do you want headphones? Do you not want headphones? He opted for no headphones. I don't think he wanted to mess his hair up.
Now that I don't have to listen to someone else, there's not really. I've got this pretty much under control.
I think so. Good morning. Oh, Ethan Hatcher. Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day to listen to the Rob Kendall Show. Ethan admiring his work. The wrinkly curtain. Thomas Ho.
Yes, I know Thomas Ho.
I voted yesterday in Boone County, where voter turnout is only 1.77%.
Yeah, it's been pretty abysmal. Abdul claims it's like gangbusters in Marion County, but everywhere else it's like, God. When I went and voted the other day, I tried to bring some joy into these people's lives, and had a nice little conversation with the lady who is the clerk, and she was like, "Yeah, nobody's coming to vote." That's because you look again. Come back to y'all can rip on Piper all you want. Y'all are boring.
Well, maybe if nobody votes and you voted for him, maybe he'll win.
One. I mean,
maybe
the candidates, they're boring. Like these candidates across the board, they're boring. Even these people that are endorsed by Trump, they're boring. Mm-hmm. Like you go talk to them, they're boring. Like they don't stand for anything.
They're afraid to say anything.
Yeah, they're not. There's nothing like to believe in. There's nothing about any of these people that you're like, yeah, that person's going to go in there and they're going to kick ass and take names on my behalf.
Andy Engel, I can hear you breathe.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'll try to not breathe.
What's the longest you can hold your breath for?
I don't know. Not very long. I'm an old man. I don't know.
There's a guy on the internet.
A lot of secondhand smoke over the years.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's a guy on the internet. My wife watches his videos. He goes underwater and he'll hold his breath and he'll like bring people down and he'll see how many people he can hold.
I think that causes brain damage.
Well, this guy like made it like over 2 minutes or something.
Yeah, probably brain dead.
I had my wife see how long she could do it. She could hold her breath for like a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I made it like 30 seconds and I quit. I was like, what's the point of this? What am I?
Have a stroke or
what's
something?
Another 10 seconds going to do for me?
You should not deprive your brain of oxygen, Rob. Jim Tinacor, blink 3 times if you're okay. It's the hostage reference.
Yes.
Drew, every time Rob mentions marijuana, take a hit. Drew.
You have 1 minute.
Dude of Sauce, good morning. Oh, crap, he has a desk. Okay, I got to find the good ones. Well, they're all good. They're all awesome. C-Mills, you cannot overdose on marijuana.
Yeah.
But according to, where's it at? So you rushed me out of here. Okay, the Indy Reporter. What happened to Rob's studio?
Hi, Steven. Have you been paying attention?
Mad Duck. Wit, it was temporary. This is the new, that one was temporary. This is the new one. Indy Reporter. The old one was better. All right, there was a couple good. Oh, where's it at here? Let's see. Okay, well, I guess we will. We'll end the chat without. I need to mark a couple that are like killer out.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were doing over there with your notepad.
I was doing that, and I lost my track here, but
that's all right.
All excellent comments from the chatters. We do appreciate it, and I wanted to get in here today to get this 2 hours in because I didn't want to come in Monday for the 3-hour show and have no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So here we are. There we go. And this chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. As always, we do appreciate it. And with that, I'll try to stop breathing, and I will get out of here, Rob.
Thank you. Hey, Masonry Color Mismatch Previous Repair catching your eye. Not happy with the brick color around your home? Ready for total makeover? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior. Want something new? Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, beauty built to endure. Guys, we want to thank you for another great week. You guys are the best audience in the whole world. And like we said, we're entering a new phase now. It's all about growth. We've gotten this thing off. We got it running. We got it through 2 hours here today. And now it's all about growth, and we need you guys to help us out like never before. If you haven't done so yet, hit the thumbs up button. If you're feeling generous, hit that share button. Share the feed, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're at. Let people know that we are here. And remind everybody, coming up Monday, we begin the show at 9 a.m., 9 until noon, Rob Kendall Show. And if you guys are feeling generous over the weekend, hit that support button, robkendallshow.com. That is going to do it for us. You guys have an awesome, safe, and very happy weekend. For producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching Rob Kendall Show.